Good night, good night, good night. Welcome, welcome, welcome. His time is up, family, to Afua Speaks Community Conversations. It's been a packed week. Seeing all the regulars in play. I'm just going to make sure that my moderators are in the room. Yes, Linus Keeks, all about the black. You done know. Rima, I know your foot must be tired, and I know you'll probably be here later. Blessed love, family, blessed love. So yeah, different slot tonight, Sunday night. It's going to be interesting. It's Father's Day as well, so I know a lot of people are predisposed and celebrating with their loved ones. And today we're going to talk. We've got two people coming on, actually. Remember the sister from last week, Friday, Sister Giselle, that was telling us about the horrible abuse that her and her daughter have suffered at the hands of their perpetrator, which is her ex-partner and the father of her child. She will be coming on today. She'll be joining the live. So she's going to tell us the rest of her story. Last week, she didn't have enough time because we heard from Peter Bailey's daughter. And that was just explosive, my brothers and sisters. That's just been crazy. So we're going to hear from her later and hear the full story about what's going on and see where we're at with the campaign to keep her here. And we're also going to hear from the victim of a guy that I put up this week, known as Saki. Now, I deliberately did not put any detail because I'd like this sister to tell you her story when she comes on. Sorry, I'm just checking, making sure that everybody's queued up, brothers and sisters. I'm exhausted right here today. So we're going to hear from her later anyway, but let me get you up to date. I wanted to upload a video for tonight of us outside the police station this afternoon. Moving of the goalposts is an understatement with these people, but I finally went in. I answered their questions. I gave them a real sharp piece of my mind because I think it's absolutely appalling that they want to pursue us and they're not pursuing the people that need to be pursued, basically. So yeah, gave me a piece of my mind, got questioned. We'll see what happens next. Am I going to be charged with these ridiculous charges? My solicitor thinks not. They're trumped up, they're ridiculous, they don't fit what's going on, as I've explained many times before. And yeah, let's just see what happens, right? Because let me tell you something, you're going to have to do a lot more than that to be able to stop the movement of what is happening and for us to speak the truth of what is happening. And if last week was not an example for you guys as to the kind of evidence that we hear, that we don't always advertise, that we don't always put out there, if last week wasn't testament to that, yeah, then I don't know what is. I really don't know what is. You've still got people going, oh, well, it doesn't prove that he raped anyone, really. There's enough reasonable doubt on that person's character to believe what our original victim told us. even more so now than before. Copyright disclaimer, as always, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Yes, indeed. Now, not sure what's happened to my guys. I don't know if they're going to be, I'll give them a 5-minute warning, which I normally do. Oh, okay, right. I'm getting that. Right, okay. So my brothers and sisters, they've done their worst. They've done what they can do. I'm not guilty of any crimes here. I'm simply trying to educate our community and make them aware of the people who walk amongst them as wolves in sheep's clothing. That's what I'm here to do. And hopefully we'll get a few charges out of that. And even better, maybe, just maybe, if the fairy godmother comes around, they'll actually bring it to the CPS and we'll get a conviction. But we've spoken about so many times how difficult that is. Oh, fantastic. How difficult that is to do that. You know, it's a national problem. It's not our problem. There's a huge problem. We've spoken about it. There's been programs on the BBC about it, how difficult it is to bring sexual abuse cases to court, rape, and particularly paedophilic cases that are historic, how difficult it is, the kind of approach that you have to take. People, educate yourselves and stop chatting nonsense. Do you understand? Just stop chatting nonsense, because really it's just a massive distraction, and not having that conversation. It's a massive distraction away from the actual issue that's taking place in our community. And lots of people don't want to have that conversation, brothers and sisters. They just don't. They don't want to have the conversation. They'd rather browbeat me, vilify me. Yep, sorry, brothers and sisters. Rather browbeat me, vilify me, rather than deal with the issue of paedophilia in the Black community and the types of people that have been doing it. You know, Mr. Popular, Mr. Joe Blogs, Mr. Round the Corner, Mr. My Brethren, Mr. My Cousin, my this, my that. It is so interconnected, particularly in the South London area that we talk about quite a lot. People say to me, oh, you're just making Brixton look bad. You're making it look like it's only Brixton that's doing this stuff. No, it's not that. The vast majority, I'd say 90% of the cases that we hear about, big respect, Rima Truth, that we hear about are from that area. What are we supposed to do? You know, we're going to be traveling around the country. That's all in the pipeline. There's lots that we want to do, and it takes time. We've only been doing this for 18 months. That is not a long time to be doing a campaign. Some people campaign for years, and that campaign builds along the way. That's what people need to understand. And when it comes on to sexual abuse cases, the average waiting time to try to get anything to court, from the point where you make that report to it actually getting to court, if at all, because the stats are very low for that, under 1% most of the time, it takes 3 to 5 years, unfortunately. So there's no quick fix. I know we like a quick fix in our community. I know we like pound for pound, value for money, and you know, people love to cast aspersions, but a lot of people don't even know what they're talking about. They really, really don't. So before we get to our guest tonight, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to share with you a video that I put on Instagram earlier on in the week. And it's of Vincent Rat harassing our beloved LB. He's got it into his head that me and LB are friends, by the way. We met because of these circumstances. I'd never heard of LB. She'd never heard of me. It turns out that she knows a few people that I know. You know, it's a small community that happens. And outside of this campaign, I think we've only hung out once. And even that was kind of campaignish because it was campaign people hanging out. And that's, you know, fairly recent. So no, we're not friends in the classic sense of the word, but I do respect the sister. I love her vibe. I'm glad I met her, albeit that it was under these circumstances. And at the end of the day, anyone else who's got a problem with that can naff off, as far as I'm concerned. And I know that LB feels the same. But I put the video up of Vincent Rapp feeling entitled to be able to move to the sister when she was having a private conversation on the street in Brixton. And he thought that it was expedient for him to go over with menaces. I mean, judge for yourself. I'll show you the video in a minute. He's not a subtle guy, is he? And it's Vincent Rat, of all people. He came to the march and tried to lunge at the stage. Didn't get very far, as we all know. But he's not accepting the bloody nose. And he's also has no conscience whatsoever, because I think we can all say hand on heart, judging from the outpouring following my original video. It's not just that the video went viral. It's the fact it went viral because it hit to the heart of what everybody had been suffering under this man. And the amount of voice notes and testimonies that went viral on the back of that video, you know, why are people even still doubting this? When we've shown evidence of children that he has, and we've done the maths and realized that the girl was 13 when she had the child. That's just one of them, you know. It's reported to be anything between 30 and 80. Who knows? Urban Myth says he has 80 children in the Brixton area. We talked about the fire with the baby, you know. He doesn't come up and refute any of this. He's talking about, I'm not threatening anyone. Why? Because he knows that we've made police reports about the threats that he's made and people that are associated with him. He knows that. He watches this live. He watches everything I do. And I'm going to show you just how much in a second, my brothers and sisters. Because what this horrible little man doesn't seem to realize is that nobody likes you. So you see all that you feel are allies. They're not. They speak to us about you because you are a menace in the community. You've been like that for 40 odd years or more. And enough's enough. Your time is up before everybody else's. Let me tell you that. How dare you think that you can come up to a woman who is a victim because she lives in your area? That's the only connection that you have with her, and espouse whatever you think, you know? Say nothing. It's harassment. You usually just stare at her and give her nasty looks. And this time you were brazen enough to come over and speak to the sister. It wasn't even speaking. It was a threat. Oh, I'm not threatening you, but yet keep your name out of my mouth. Let me just play the video, my brothers and sisters, because this individual is actually the reason that we're here, right? From the beginning. I'll play that for you, brothers and sisters.
Hey, listen, I'm not threatening you or your friend. So I tell you, keep my name out on the mouth, right? Because me not threatening nobody. Oh. No, I had to say that and get it up.
So he felt that he had to say that. And what, get it off his chest? Why did you have to say that? I'm not threatening you or your friend. Your friend meaning me. I have a DM. I have means of communication. If you have anything to say it to me. Why don't you do that? You know why you don't do that. You know why. You know why you never ever accepted the invitations that I gave you when I used to be on Instagram. You know why you never accepted those, Mr. Rat, because you know that I would lick you up with the evidence. I'd be putting forward evidence to you that I've not even shared with the public. How about that? That's what you do know. And you wouldn't dare to come and challenge. All you do is whisper in your little groups, whisper in on Facebook, and do your worst there. But you've never come forward to deny it, have you? You know why? Because you know it's all true. That's what it is. You know, how dare you? How very dare you? But my brothers and sisters, let me show you the levels of these people, you know, and they're all connected. A lot of the people that we call out from that area are all connected. Someone said Valerie Rat is a disgrace to black womanhood. Absolutely the case. I'm going to get some permission quite soon to share with you what she's been up to lately. What she's been up to lately with the help of her unscrupulous husband. I don't care what paperwork says. I don't even know if they're divorced. They say they are, but who knows? I don't think they are. And they're certainly still operating together. But yeah, I'm going to get some permission soon to share what I've seen lately, what they've been getting up to in terms of intimidation. Absolutely disgusting people. Let me find this. So this guy is in a WhatsApp group. Just like another person we knew that we talked about a WhatsApp group a little while back. Do you remember? But he's in a WhatsApp group. And this is the kind of thing that Mr. Rat is sharing about me. This is what makes me laugh. We had somebody in the chats on whenever it was during the week, somebody called Layla Peters that's been leaving whole essays on my Instagram comments. I've invited him or her. I don't know who it is. It's a fake profile, but they're calling themselves Layla Peters. I know they're probably watching. Get on the live when I put the link out, because I'd love to be able for you to be able to tell me what evidence you have for your unscrupulous, crazy ideas about what's going on. But I suspect they've maybe got it from this group, or maybe Rat has got it from them. But you can see how all of the people are related. And anyone that's fraternizing with this individual Rat that thinks the way he thinks, I'm very sorry. As far as I'm concerned, you're probably on the same level, because I don't know how any self-respecting person could be on not on his level and still par with him at the end of the day, or even agree with him at the end of the day. So this is something that was sent to me from a WhatsApp group that he'd posted in. He's been putting my business address everywhere because it's on Company's House. I mean, you know, you can just look it up. Now, there seems to be some sort of confusion that my name is Denise Rose. There's not confusion. I've spoken about it. It's not a secret. It is my slave name. And for those of you that were active during the Afrocentric era of the 90s and what have you, you may well have changed your name to an African name as well, which is what I did. My surname is Rose. That is my family name. My first slave name is a Jewish name, apparently. Or, sorry, the surname is a Jewish name, which I did originally change, actually. But when my father died 18 years ago, I put the Rose back on to honor him, you know? But I originally changed my name to Afua Ne Katamino Siki Chibueze. How about that? You understand? And that was from Denise Rose. No problem. Little bit smarter than most in those days, who actually went further and changed it by deed poll. And I always prayed that actually having that name might disadvantage me in racist Britain in terms of getting jobs. So I would apply it as Denise Rose, and anywhere I've ever worked will pay me as Denise Rose, but call me Afua Rose in the workplace. And it's as simple as that. Nothing to hide whatsoever. I am a freelance. I run my own consultancy. I'm a freelance practitioner. That's what I do. And that happens in various capacities. Sometimes it will be social services. Sometimes it might be the courts. Sometimes it might be, let me silence this thing. Sometimes it might be wherever. And in that regard, and the fact that I skip in and out of the country, teach abroad, do what I do, I have limited companies. It's only been about 3 or 4, if that, I think, over the years. And, you know, depending on my position, depending on where I'm working, that's what happens. I owe the tax man absolutely nothing. So you haters can just stop all of that. But let me give you an insight into the mindset of these people who, rather than deal with who is beside them and what they've done, they would rather try to dig, and then make wild accusations based on assumptions when they know absolutely nothing what they're talking about. These people ain't got no sense. Let me show you, brothers and sisters. This was sent to me from their group, from your group, Rat, because not everybody's down with your crap at the end of the... No, sorry, let me just show you that, brothers and sisters. Let me find that. So have a look there. It begins with him displaying or looking for personal appointments, basically. And then he finds a company that I had, New Approach Solutions Limited, company profile and all of that. Now that was, just get rid of that for those of you that can't see it. This thing's playing up today, brothers and sisters. I can't even get rid of this. Let me see. Technicals. I need like an assistant, I think, that's going to help me with this kind of thing while I'm doing what I'm doing. I think some people do that, don't they? Right. So that was the first post that somebody posted in the group, or he did, or whatever. I've cropped the top of it because we don't want to know who the source is that sent me it, obviously. But that's where the kerfuffle kind of started. Ooh, she's got a company that's now liquidated. Well, that I started with, I started for my baby father, actually, so that he could get his wiggle on, and kind of just handed it to him. I didn't really do anything with it. And that folded because, you know, he's a waste man. So And we had issues as well in terms of splitting up and getting back and splitting up and getting back and blah, blah, blah. So that just fell by the wayside. Anything else is to do with my consultancy. Taxman's happy. HMRC, if you're watching, tell these people to back off. They're talking foolishness. And as for me being some sort of police informant for Operation Trident, you need to talk to my ex-husband. We split up 22 years ago, Layla Peters. So whatever you're coming with sounds kind of familiar with something he might have done. Nothing to do with me. 22 years is a long time, and that's how long I've left this man. So that's that. So let's go to the second one, see what they're going on with there. Somebody says after they've seen that, I always knew there was more to this girl and wondered who her backers were. There is nobody that backs me apart from God. Let me tell you that. And I think that might be in response to my baby father's name being on one of the companies. He and I do not talk. Let me tell you that. I spoke about him and his nasty ways. So somebody says, oh, I get it now. And then someone says her sidekick, LB, Lorraine Brown. Someone says, who's that talking? Clearly it's Rat saying it's me because he's the one that did the video. Someone says, okay. That's that one. These people, honestly. Why am I the topic in these groups? Like, seriously, why? And there's another one as well that's quite nasty, actually. Someone says, she bolted, meaning LB. He says, yes. And then someone says, good, keep the effers running. Really? So he says, listen, good. All them have to do is go with the victims to social and the police, and they cannot turn down the allegations, not scandal people without the victims or actual facts. He knows full and well how many people that he's intimidated. He knows full and well how many people were already intimidated by him, why they didn't go to the police many years ago. And then he sort of posts a picture of myself and LB, blah, 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 blah. He's just a very, very nasty piece of work. This is what this man is, a nasty piece of work. He knows. And don't worry about it, because what he doesn't seem to understand is when it comes to the magnitude and the scale of his crimes and the amount of victims, they're not just going to run and come and get you. They want as many victims as possible. That's what we work on, getting all your victims together, and then they will lick you. So stay there, think you're safe. And your previous status with the feds, I don't think is going to hold for you very well, because they're interested in the youngers. You're old, your information is outdated, and I don't think they're going to cover you, really. So that's what he's been getting on with. And I think that he is bright and out of order, my people. I think we need to renew and step up our campaign in terms of that individual, because it isn't a joke, the things that he's done. And there are death threats towards me. We've spoken about it here. There is a particular death threat, actually, that's been reported to the police again today. And hopefully, you know, we can get that one investigated as quickly as possible. But let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, this man is not quiet in the background. He's got nuts for these people. And you idiots about you knew there was something more. What? Because there's 3 companies on Companies House that were liquidated within a short space of time. Whatever. Speak to any contractor or anyone who does that kind of work that I do, and you'll see that that's actually quite normal. Idiots. Idiots. And where's Layla Peters? Where are you in the chats with your talk? Where are they? Anyway, my brothers and sisters, let me mute up for just 1 second. We've got one guest in the studio. I wanted to do it in a different order, so I'm just going to find out where the other sister is and if she's coming on. If not, we'll go straight to Sister Giselle. Give me 1 second, brothers and sisters. I've been told to stop my camera when I'm on the phone because people lip read, so I'm going to do. Yeah, we're just waiting for the sister to arrive. But can you see the level of pettiness, my brothers and sisters? I'm not actually going to deal with this anymore. I wanted to launch membership today. I've done all the steps. but for some reason the join button isn't coming live. So look out for an announcement to tell you that that has now gone live, because we want to have private conversations. And I'm sick and tired of all these trolls chatting rubbish, you know, just to kind of sway the narrative, because that's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. Sister's device is not connected. I hate this thing. I don't know why this happens, you know. I'm going to have to kind of Google why this happens. Give me a moment, brothers and sisters. I need to tell her. Wow. Hold on one second. So we're all connected and we're good to go. So yeah, we spoke about this guy called Saki. You're going to understand why there's limited information when you speak to the sister. But I thought her story was important to be heard. She feels it's important to be heard. And also for us to kind of explore the different types of sexual abuse that takes place, you know, and for us not to put a hierarchy on different types of sexual abuse. Some people feel that, well, if you haven't been penetrated, then you know, it really wasn't that bad. It is that bad. And it has just as long lasting effects as somebody who's been actually raped by their perpetrator. So welcome, free to be me. Blessed love, my sister. Welcome to His Time Is Up.
Thanks for having me.
Conversations. Yes, my sister. Blessed love. So you're gonna take us through, you know, your story in terms of this individual who is unknown to most people. Who knows. I think a lot of people expect it to always be a well-known person in Brixton, and it isn't always that. We've done lots of ones that isn't, and they're just as important as the ones that are well-known. So what we do know is that he was a family friend of yours, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he persisted to sexually abuse you over a period of time, my sister. So if you want to just take it from there and just share your story with us.
Okay, so it all started
it's because I'm toddling about and whatever, but I'm still here with you.
Okay, so it started when I was about 9. Like you said, he was a family friend. He would visit the house. He was a friend of my stepdad's. He would visit the house after work, having dinner with us sometimes. Just generally became a friend of the family. And it all started off with him. It was an era of, do you remember Fame?
Yes,
when
of course.
Fame was really popular.
My first crush.
Yeah, and I was really into Fame, and I was really into leg warmers. For some reason, I just really liked leg warmers and roller skates. And he always promised to buy me. He kept on promising to buy me leg warmers. He always said, every time he come around, he goes, well, next time I come, I'm going to bring you leg warmers. Next time I come, I'm going to bring you leg warmers. Next time I come, I'm going to bring you leg warmers, you know. And as a 9-year-old, you hold on to that. You know,
Absolutely.
there was even times when I actually believed he was going to bring the leg warmers the next time. So initially, when he would come round, I would be happy because I'd be thinking, okay, I'm going to get my leg warmers now. And then one day, it kind of like, it changed a bit. I can remember exactly where I was. I was standing in the front room. My mum was in the kitchen. My brother and sister were upstairs playing, and my stepdad was outside doing some work on his car. And I was coming out of the front room and he was coming in, and he just squeezed my breast. And I kind of froze. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to feel. And I just thought, oh, I kind of like breathed in like that kind of and from then it just happened every single time. But he would still offer me. Then he upped his game and he said he was going to buy me roller skates. So at this point now I'm conflicted because as a 9-year-old, you don't really realise that this is wrong or if it's right. You just know something just didn't feel right, you know. So I started to become very closed in and spending a lot of time in my bedroom and not really socialising with the family much. I came really withdrawn and I started to sort of like, you know, act out at school. things like that. So then, obviously, I'm going to go into detail, but I don't want to, like, the memories are really sporadic. Like, things come back to me, and I'll be like, certain music, if I hear certain music, it's like it will remind me of a time when he done something to me. Because I can tell you this, Afua, there was no time at all that he ever sexually abused me in an empty house. The house was always full of people. This man had a way of getting me while my mum was in the house, my stepdad was in the house, my sister was in the house, my brother was in the house. Sometimes there'd be other family friends over, because our house was a very sociable house. People always used to come around. There was always someone at the house. So
I can relate to that, sis, because I had 3 different abusers across different parts of my life, and that was one of them. That was the nature of it.
Yeah,
really distressing, because you kind of think to yourself, does my mum and dad know? Because they're in the next room.
Yeah. Do they know? And is it my fault? Is this right? Is this wrong? Then I got to about 10 or 11, and then I kind of realized that no, this is not right what he's doing. It's actually not right. So whenever he would come around, I thought the best thing for me to do was stay in my room. That was the biggest mistake I made. Biggest mistake, because what he would then do would find an excuse to go to the toilet, which was next door to my bedroom. And I don't know how somebody can go to the toilet for 2 minutes but still find time to come and put your hand in a little girl's knickers, or squeeze her breasts. It was, and even talking about it now, I can just remember how sweaty his hands used to be. And as a 10, 11-year-old, these were my formative years, and it made me really distrust everybody, because this was happening and my parents were in the house. So if they couldn't protect me, who was going to protect me? I can't say he ever escalated to anything more than touching and putting his hand into my knickers and feeling my breasts. But at that time, you're not sexual. Well, I certainly wasn't sexual at 9, 10 or 11. I certainly wasn't. It kind of things came to a head when I was about 12 or 13, because I broke down one day and I told one of my cousins and my brother and another cousin. And I think my cousin said something to his mum, and his mum said something to my gran, and then my gran questioned my mum. Then it all came out. But nothing was still done, Afua. It was just swept under the carpet kind of thing. My mum didn't want me to make a statement to the police because she felt that I would have been dragged through the court and it would affect me. But I really feel like the fact that it was seemingly swept under the carpet, that affected me a lot more. Because you can't go through life not being able to depend on your parents for protection, especially for something like that. And when you're only 9, 10, 11, 12, I mean, it stopped when I was 14. Because when I was 14, I really, really started to rebel. I was staying out late, going out with my friends, trying to smoke weed, smoke cigarettes. My grades at school dropped down. I was starting to show my body when I was going out. I was trying to show my little cleavage, you know what I mean? Show off myself, because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. I didn't realise that this man had actually changed the course of my direction of where I was going in life, because I was very much into my athletics. I was into my dancing, my drama, and then all that stopped. I just became somebody who didn't want to socialise. I didn't want to mix with anybody. I was always in my bedroom. Even down to when we used to go to family parties and stuff, and, they'd say, oh, go and dance with your uncle, go and dance with your cousin. I didn't want to dance with them, because I saw everybody as this dirty old man that was going to try and touch me, and I don't want to be touched. And when you're dancing with someone, they're going to touch you. I don't want you to touch me, So it kind of like made me miss out on just being me and being able to enjoy my childhood. So I just wanted to say, like, to the people that are saying, Oh, it doesn't. It really did affect me, Afua. It affected me big time. It affected every single aspect of my life, because you don't when you don't get that full backing from your parents. And I'm not here to blame anybody, because I've forgiven everybody in this. You know, I realised when that happened, my parents were probably in their 30s, early 30s. My stepdad was probably in his early 40s, and some people at that time they're not even mature, much less to know how to deal with something like that. You know, so I'm not here to blame anybody. I'm just here to say, look, this goes on in our community so much, and the impact that it has on the person that is being done to, if it's not dealt with properly, and it's not dealt with, it's like you carry it through for the whole of your life. You know, you don't, it goes away. You can try and bury it, you know, but you're only burying it in your own psyche. And then it grows and grows, and then it manifests in other ways. Like, I was really, really ill. I used to have lots of earaches, lots of toothaches, and I don't even know if that was my body just trying to get attention from my mum. Now, at this age, I realise, like, all of them, I was always in hospital. You know, there was always something wrong with me. If we went out for a family trip or something, you know, I'd be the one ruining things because my ear was hurting me, or I've got a toothache, or I've got really, 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 really bad period pains. You know, so I don't know. I don't even know how to describe how it affected my teen years. But when I got to like my 20s, when I was in my 20s, it was more like navigating my way through life with this thing that's growing inside of me, but I'm trying to hold it down because, like you said, there's a hierarchy. You know, he didn't actually RAPE me. So what was I complaining about? Why didn't I just forget about it? You know, because I will say family did know in the end, and it was swept under the carpet. You know, my mum, I can understand why she didn't want me to go to the police station now. I do. And obviously at that age, I'm going to listen to her and deal with, but I always got the feeling that somehow, is this my fault? Because I can remember one time him coming to the house, and the way how our house is that if you open the front door, you can see we've got a long passage, and you could see right into the kitchen. And one time, I must have been about 11 or 12, and this time it's all come out now. So as an adult, I realised he shouldn't even been coming to the house still. You shouldn't have been friends with this man anymore. But he came to the house, and my mum was she was at the cooker, and she was frying either chicken or fritters. I don't know which one it was, but she was frying something, and I was standing on the outside of her. So as he came in, he would have seen me first. And I can remember my mum pulling me and making me stand on the other side of her. But the way she pulled me, it was almost as if, this is your fault. I don't want him to see you, kind of thing. And that always stays with me all the time, you know?
That is such a classic African Caribbean response, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way it was swept under the carpet, the way that you're made to feel as if it's somehow your fault, even if it isn't said. It's just classics.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And, you know, like I said, in my teens, I tried to bury the trauma. In my 20s, I was navigating my way through life, trying to understand why I react the way I do. When I got to my 30s, I realised that this trauma was festering inside me, and I needed to do something about it. So it was in my late 30s, early 30s to late 30s, I started to kind of like really come into myself. I took the weave one out of my hair. I started loxing up. I was listening to the Bob Marley. I was trying to find myself, know who I am. I got really into my astrology and stuff because I wanted to know myself and why I reacted the way I reacted to certain things, without still, I feel, still not realizing that it was the trauma that was making me. Because I just thought, oh, you know, because everybody just was blasé about it, I just thought, oh, I'm just making this big fuss. Why do I feel like this? Why am I so upset? Why do I feel so emotional about all of these things? You know, but it's sexual abuse at the end of the day. And no man of that age, he must have been at least 38, 39 when it first happened. I was 9. Like, how were you even sexually attracted to me in the first place? Like, how could you have got any joy from that? You know?
Sis, can you just stick a pin for me a second, my sister?
Yes.
1 second. You see you, Nicola M. Layla said you ain't paid your taxes. I just addressed that. I know you said that a few comments back, but you, Nicola M, I've had enough of you. Somebody's sharing their testimony. This is a platform for survivors to share their story. It's not here for passa or anything like that. So right now, I've just done the drop-down box. You're about to get blocked. Yes, Nicola M, you're blocked. Get lost. I'm so sick of these people. She will not be coming back here again to darken our door. Thank you. Go ahead, my sister.
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, you know, when I was in my 30s, I realised that the trauma wasn't going anywhere. I was probably no, let me not tell a lie. It was the real healing started to begin when my sister had her first child, because obviously my sister knew everything that was going on. She had her first child and she really understood what it was to be a parent. And I was able to talk to her and offload on her. And I mean, she's been through this whole journey with me, you know, from start to finish, because he never, ever touched my sister. Never, ever touched my sister, only me. You know, so like I said, I went through my 20s trying to understand why I was reacting the way I was reacting to certain things. 30 was realizing that this trauma was festering inside me and I needed to get rid of it for me to live my full life and not allow this I don't even know what to call him, this monster.
He's paedophile. That's what he is.
Basically, a paedophile.
You know, and you know what? I wanted to ask you a question very quickly. Did he ever have any chance to get you on your own during this time?
Yes. Because
he sounds like he was a, what we call a long groomer. You know, he's into the grooming game.
Yeah, he was definitely grooming me. He was definitely grooming me, but the times that I was with him on my own was in his car. Because what would happen sometimes, and now when I think about it, I think he's very, very slick and sly. Because my parents used to like to have a little bit of a drink sometimes. And what would happen when he was leaving, it was always me who had to get into the car and go to the off license with him while he would go and buy the drink and then drop me back outside the house and I would walk into the house with the drink. But as an adult now, that doesn't make any sense to me, because if you were going to go to the off license and come back, you could have just beeped outside and mum or dad could have come out and picked up the drink. Why did I need to go in the car? So those times I was alone with him, but I can tell you, Afua, I can remember, he never once touched me in the car. He never once touched me in the car. So I don't know if, all I know is that he was at our house very often. Very, very, very often. And no matter where I was in the house, if one day I decided to sit down with the family, like for example, when E.T. was airing, and that shows you how long ago this was. As a family, we all sat down and he was at the house. You know, and every time I looked around or glanced over, he would be staring at me. And I don't understand how no one else in the family noticed it. But like you said, they're very slick and sly. They know how to do things, you know, because I don't think until it came out, my parents had a clue. I'm not going to sit here and bash them and say they knew what was going on before it came out and they just let him get away with it. It's just when they found out about it, they didn't deal with it. They didn't know how. They probably didn't know how to deal with it, you know. So when I got to my 40s now, I realised, you know what, I need to forgive people without them asking me for the forgiveness, because I have to move on with my life. I can't just sit here and let this man, this monster, paedophile, direct my life. You already ruined my teenage years. You ruined my 20s. I almost allowed you to ruin my 30s. I'm not going to allow you, and I'm definitely not taking it into my 50s with me. So for all the people that want to sit there and turn around and say, why are you talking about it now? The reason why we're talking about it now is because we've now got a platform to talk about it. And like I've just explained, your teens you bury the trauma. When you're in 20s, you're just navigating your way through life without even realizing why you're doing the things you're doing. When you get to 30, you probably realize, okay, I need to deal with this. And at 40 is the healing process. So this is the reason why it takes a lot of victims to speak out, time to speak out.
Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. I'm still with you, sis.
Okay.
That is absolutely the reason why.
Yeah, 100%. We never had a platform. We never had anywhere to go. What was I going to do? Hold a family meeting? Most of my family would have said to me, oh, P, just forget about it.
Which is the conditioned response, isn't it?
Yes. Just move on with your life. Don't let him upset you. Don't let him affect you.
You don't bring family shame. Just move
Yes.
on.
Move
And
on from
meanwhile,
it.
he's visiting, he's back in the house, at the parties, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Coming to family functions, at weddings, what about me and my feelings and how I feel?
Or even
You
the
know?
outrage.
Yeah. The anger, the outrage, my acting out, being in relationships for longer than I should have been because I didn't know my worth when I was much younger. You just don't know your worth. When something like that happens to you, you don't know your worth. I would have known my worth if the reaction from my family was the right reaction. I would have realized, yeah, I've got the backing. But then you go through life realizing that who do you trust and who can you depend on? And like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody.
A large part of it was that they didn't have that education. It was culturalized. It's come handed down from how it was dealt with in slavery times. Yeah. And that is that, you don't tell on the mouse, do you? You shut your mouth and keep it moving.
Keep your mouth,
I think that's where a lot of that comes from. But we should be breaking that mold now, and we're really not, because we've seen the same type of reactions, in this present campaign, sis.
Yeah, maybe you've got women like me that have probably got kids that have gone through this and they haven't healed, and the way how they're dealing with their child, it shows. And then that child now, they pass it on to their child, and then that child passes it on to that child, and it's just a vicious circle. It just never ends. But I decided I was going to break it. I was not going to have this no more. And without my little sister being there for me 100%, the whole of the way. I mean, she's 100% behind me, speaking my truth today. So is my brother, so is my friends, my family. Everybody's behind me because they know they probably realize the type of person that I could have been. It affects your self-confidence. I could have been so much more. I'm proud of who I am, but I feel like had I got that support when I was younger, I wouldn't have had to go through all of this and be questioning myself and doubting myself and wondering, am I good enough? Was it me? What did I do? Because it makes you remember, I grew up with my stepdad. So my sister, it was her real dad who was living in the house. I asked myself, is it because my dad wasn't around? That's not my fault.
Nope. And even though that intellectually, that in a rational way, the emotion of you feeling it's your fault is still present. Maybe 100%. Not now, but it's there, isn't it? Lurking in the background. Absolutely.
Look, I didn't even want to talk about this because I'm still trying to protect my family. I was still trying to protect, because when you get to a certain age, you realize, no, that's wrong. They should have protected you. And I still, even up to now, I don't want people to judge my mum. I don't want people to judge my stepdad. I don't want them to say, oh, you should have done this or you should have done that, because I'm sure they know. Now they know. And it's too late. We can't go and turn back the clock or whatever. What happened to me happened to me. And I'm here telling my story, and I survived through it. It's been a rough 35 years. It's not always been rough, but there's been times when I have managed to push it right to the back of my mind, and I felt like it didn't happen to me. Then certain things happen and it brings it all back. Or you get into a relationship with a certain type of guy and you realize, why are you still here when you know this guy is not right for you? And it all goes back to the sexual abuse. 100%. It all goes back to the sexual abuse.
And that's what they need to realize. They need to realize that
all the people trivializing people's experiences and saying, oh, why are you talking about it now? Well, it happened so long ago, you should let it go. Who feels it knows it? Unless it's happened to you, you don't have a right to say anything. And I'm going to say that the enablers are worse than the perpetrators, because if it wasn't for the enablers, it would have stopped a long time ago.
Yes, absolutely.
The perpetrator tries it once, and if he gets away with it, he's going to keep doing it. It's the enablers. They are 1,000 times worse. And the worst type of enabler are those big, old, grey-ass black women that know what's going on, and they just still try to blame a 9 or a 12-year-old. talking about, oh, she bright and she feisty, or she pushing up as she's not pushing up as a 9-year-old doesn't know anything like, and if she does, she's been taught it by somebody. We don't just know these things.
Absolutely.
You know, I didn't even have a
Absolutely.
boyfriend till I was 17. You know, I wasn't even thinking about sex, Afua. It wasn't on my agenda. I was such a studious person. I just wanted to be into my books, my comics, my astrology, my learning. I just wanted to learn. And then what I did after I finished school, I just threw myself into work. I was always working. Even now, I'm always working. Always busy. Sometimes I'll go from one job to another. You know, I even do night work. I've done night work. I've done so many different jobs. I just want to be working all the time.
I feel you, my sister, because it's that distraction, isn't it? Like being busy. That's actually quite characteristic as well of survivors, is having to keep busy, having to always be on the move, so that we don't actually sit still.
Sit down and think about it and get angry or get upset or get emotional, you know, and start to think, is it me? Is it me? Was it me? What did I do wrong? You know? But like you said, there was a high, and for a long time I felt guilty for being upset about it, because nobody else seemed to be as upset as I was, apart from my sister. It was trivialized in such a way that I just, you know, I internalized everything. I internalized it. And like I said, I think it came out, it manifested itself through my body breaking down, always being in hospital, having earaches, having toothache, even tonsillitis I was having. And, you know, was that my way of just trying to, my body was just saying, you know, you need to get your attention of your mum and your dad in a different way, you know, because
Well,
they're not giving...
it's what you call psychosomatic illnesses.
Yeah.
The illness manifests itself through your psyche, through what's going on for you emotionally.
100%, I believe that. Definitely.
Definitely psychosomatic. So, Sif, if you had a message for any victim of his that is still too afraid to speak out, what would you say to them? Because, you know, these people are very prolific. There's never just one victim. There's always somebody else there. Whether or not they break their silence is another story.
There was a rumor a few years ago, well, I'm going to say a good 15 to 20 years ago, after he finally was stopped from coming to my house, like when I was too old now. There was just no way, you know, my brother and sister were old. If my parents weren't going to beat him up if he come to the door, my brother and sister surely would have beat him up, because they were at this age now where they knew exactly what was going on, you know. And I would say to them, look, you need to talk. If he's done it to you, speak up, because there was a rumor, like I said, a good 20, 25 years ago, that he actually troubled somebody who was disabled, you know, or in a wheelchair. So it wouldn't surprise me if he has done it, but I would say if there are any victims out there, listen, I've taken the first step, and it took me over 35 years to do it. You need to talk, because you could be saving somebody else that he's doing it to. He didn't go the full hog with me. Like I said, I wasn't RAPE, but who's to say he's not doing that to somebody else?
Absolutely. They operate in various ways, honestly.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries, my sis. I'm so glad that you came on and told your story. And I really hope that if there is anybody else out there that knows this guy, Shaki, because you can't remember his real name, can you?
Sassy.
Sorry, Shaki, Safi. What is it?
Sassy. SASI. Sassy.
Sassy, that's it. Sorry.
Sassy. Just in case.
But you can't remember his real name. That's and that's not unusual, is it, for a child that, you know, heard a guy called... my dad had loads of friends who we never knew their real names. Do you know what I mean? They had nicknames. And if you're a kid and you haven't been around that person, that is often the case, that you don't remember their real name. And how can you make a report if you don't know their real name, right?
Exactly.
But if you're left with those memories, you know his face. We were able to get it, as blurred as those images were. And we're hoping that somebody's going to recognize those pictures and come on their truth.
Oh, it could be somebody who knows somebody else. It doesn't have to be the actual person, and they can point them out and say, "Look, he's pictured up. You go and speak your truth, speak your story." I mean, I've bumped into him probably twice in my whole life. One time I was on my own, and one time I was with my sister. And he still has that same pervert look on his face.
Oh. And he's originally from Singapore, isn't he?
Yes, he's from Singapore.
Married
He's not a black man. Yeah, he's not a black man. I don't know if he's still married to the woman. I'm not sure. You know, I think that I feel like they have split up. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just hope by me doing this, it's going to free up other people to feel like that they can tell their story. You know, no sexual abuse is too small to be spoken about if it's affected the person, and not even if it will affect the person. You know, even if on the outside they seem like they're not being affected by it, it's affecting them in other ways. You know, staying in abusive relationships, not reaching your full potential, walking around angry with illness. You know, just
so many things,
so many ways it can affect you. So yeah, I'm just here to let people know, listen, this can happen to you. You don't have to have counseling. You don't have to have like professional help. That all helps as well. Of course it does. But I didn't. I had to just navigate myself through and learn. Like I said, the biggest thing for me was forgiving people that didn't ask for the forgiveness, because if I didn't forgive them and realize, you know what, they just didn't know any better, I'd be so bitter and angry and still hurt and upset this moment.
100%, sis. Sorry, I'm still getting over that cold. The coffee's always the last to go. Sis, you are a beacon of survivorship, of survivorhood.
Thank you.
You're a beacon of that. And like you said, no support, nobody to talk to, just navigating yourself with nothing but yourself and the spirit is a massive feat, my sister. And we salute you.
Thank you so much.
Blessed love, and we will see you again as you want.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Afua.
Thank you. No worries. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sister. Yes, sister. I mean, come on. Sister didn't even... 1 second. Yeah, sister didn't even have a chance, did she? I had a perpetrator like that. He just used to feel me up whenever he got the chance. And, he'd send me down the kitchen to make coffee. That was the thing. Oh, I like the way she makes coffee. Go and make me some coffee. Your parents would be in another room and you think, oh my God, what's going on? I know that shock and that feeling of kind of paralysis, like you don't know how to react. You don't know what to do. It's fight or flight. And in those days as well, anyone that's kind of 40s or 50s would have been brought up to have absolute respect and submission for your elders, which was kind of a dangerous thing when we think about it now. I try to tell my children must respect their elders, but if an elder violates, it's okay to fight back. We weren't raised like that. We were raised to submit fully and have nothing to say to these people. So it's just all very interesting anyway, my brothers and sisters. And I just want to salute that sister. She's very, very strong to navigate all of the ills of what we know that survivors go through and have no support whatsoever is really quite a feat. Very heartbreaking, Hurricane Toya, very heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, but as well, I'm kind of gladdened by the triumph that she's overcome. But the life is already tainted because it never goes away. It's something you have to learn to overcome. And do you really overcome it? It's something that you have to learn to live with, actually, because it's always there at the back of your mind. Flashbacks happen. You become more and more comfortable with those over the years that you can talk about it or whatever. But there are times when it actually gets you down, even with people like myself that go on the circuit and they're always talking about these things. There are times, when you're in your quiet moments and maybe you're feeling a low ebb, that the sorrow of what's happened to you comes back. And it's absolutely horrendous, my brothers and sisters. So I hope these perpetrators that are watching understand and know the kind of carnage that they leave behind them, and I hope they know that they're going to get a very special place in hell for that. I hope they really know that, because that's what's going to happen to you. As much as you're there going on like you ain't done nothing and you want to actually perpetrate some more and pretend that you're the victim, you know, there is a special place for you on the other side. And that's what you people, whether you believe it or not, don't seem to get, you know. Big up, brother Anointed. I know you're in the chat somewhere, brother Ronnie. Tell them, brother Ronnie, about the hellfire that awaits them, my brother. True, they don't know. But yes, my brothers and sisters. So we're going to now talk to Sister Giselle, okay, without further ado. And yeah, you know, this is a story of physical abuse. When we're talking about the violence against women and girls spectrum, it isn't just about sexual abuse, it's about the violence against women as well, which is just as damaging in terms of the long-term effects that has. But when you're being abused by your partner and your partner, who is the father of your child, is also abusing your child, you know, we've seen it with baby P and different things. You know, it's the mother not only has to protect herself, but she also has to protect her child. And that's a special kind of hell. Welcome, Sister Giselle. Welcome. Welcome back, I should say, sis. I know you've been waiting in the wings a long time, sis.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, yeah. So, yes, my sister, before last week, what we wanted to do was to just kind of highlight the issue and to have you back on this week, because there wasn't enough time last week for you to actually tell your full story about what's been happening. We've already kicked one person out today because that person's actually it's had it coming for a long time. Nicola M. She always sullies the waters. She's always looking past her. She's not here to empathize. She's just here to look gossip and to create diversions and disruption. So we've got rid of them. And I believe it's now a friendly room tonight. So my sister, you feel free to share with us exactly what's been going on with this individual. Can you remind us of his name again, sis? This guy in Spain. And so just very quickly, just for those people that didn't see last week's live and haven't really caught up with the Instagram post about little Ava that was trying to stop her being returned to her abusive father in Spain. And this is Ava's mother, Giselle, who came on very briefly last week. So she's going to take us through what's been going on with this little girl. We've got a change.org petition that we've put together to try to get the government involved or to speed up her citizenship at the very least. Now, I haven't had time today running from the police station, then coming back in, sorting out my daughter, doing whatever, trying to get the week ahead organized. I forgot to put the change.org link in this live. But if you look at last week's live, it's got the link in there. And you can also find it in my bio on @AfuaRose69 on Instagram. Okay, so that's for those people that are just catching up, my sister, about what's actually been going on. So it's Enrique, isn't it?
Yes, Enrique Ogania. That's his name.
Enrique, what a cliche. He's a Spanish bloke called Enrique. Yes. Tell us a little bit about, tell us about what he's been doing. You know, how you met, how you got into it.
So we met at a wedding in Spain, and he was very pursuant. He was just after me. I wasn't interested, to be honest, but he kept, you know, pursuing. Oh, okay, come to Spain. It's lovely. It's sunny here. You can work and it's nice. Just come and try it out. So he eventually persuaded me to move over to Spain. We met at a wedding, so I couldn't speak Spanish, and he spoke English quite well. Okay. And that's how we ended up being the person I communicated with during the wedding. And then became very friendly. I was with my friend's kids, and they needed the pharmacy. They needed some medical assistance. So he helped a lot with helping me translate to the pharmacist. So went on from there, came back to the UK. He came a couple of times and convinced me to move to Spain. And me being single and just working in London, I thought, okay, it's not bad to try out Spain to see how it is, you know. Try something different. It's going to be a great weather, because obviously I'm from Trinidad originally. So I thought, okay, that's not a bad idea. So I moved over there, and then to come to find out that he was only getting 350 euros a month. My pay was just paying most of the bills and the rent. And we started to have problems from then on. I realized that he was a person that is always out drinking with his friends and started I didn't know. I found out a bit later that he's dived into drugs and he's been a heavy drug user before I met him. So he was hiding that before. So cocaine, marijuana, and some sort of a caramelly drug stuff like hashish. So we had lots of problems with him, and I said, "You need help." I tried talking to his parents about it because I find it so strange someone so young would be so heavily involved in drugs. You know, me being a bit innocent, a bit naive. You know, thinking, "Oh, that's a drug problem. He needs help," not realizing I'm dealing with a proper addict. Um, so I tried talking to his parents, especially his mother, and she sort of always put forward to me that, you know, I'm doing everything because of him. If she buys shopping, it's because of him. So they were always against me. They asked him, why do you want to be with a black girl? Is there nobody in Spain for you?
So they
You
were
know,
racist basically from
yeah,
from the
yes.
jump.
And they would be like, oh, I don't like your hair like this, or braided or corner.
Oh
They
wow.
wouldn't like the black hairstyles. So I find it very strange. I thought, these people are Spanish. They don't know about black hair anyway. So that went
Wow.
on.
Sis,
And then,
just before you continue, can I just ask? He's a barrister. Why was he only earning 350 euros a month?
well, when I met him, he said that his dad was getting ready to retire and he was still training under his dad.
Ah,
I
I
thought,
see. So
oh
he
my
hadn't
goodness.
qualified at that point, right? Okay.
Yes. So I thought, oh my goodness, you need to work harder because I'm quite a hard worker. I'm like 200% in, you know. So that's what he was earning. So we moved out. We moved into a flat. I got pregnant, and that's where it started to get really abusive, um, because he started to grow marijuana plants in a whole spare bedroom, and he had like a freezer filled of marijuana. So I was like, what nonsense is this? You're a barrister. I'm a teacher. Why do you have drugs in the house? And I was literally panicking. You know, I had a meeting with the dad and the mother, and I said to them, this is what's happening. They came to my house and they saw the drugs in the freezer. It was filled, one of the freezer drawers. Um, so I had to confide in them. This is what's going on, and he needs to stop. Like, I need to get this out. Something needs to be done. So he started to become very aggressive, like insulting, because obviously I was exposing his drug use to his parents, and that's where the abuse started from there. He started punching the walls next to me, threatening me. He would literally punch the walls where his knuckles would bleed.
Wow.
On the walls in the old flat. So you could literally see on his hands, there were bruises along the knuckles on his hands. It moved on to that physical altercation, because I would, you know, say to him, I'm going to chuck the plants away. You can't be having drugs in the house. You've got a child smoking drugs in the house. And then the abuse just escalated, where he would be physical, push me, slam my head against the walls. I think I've sent you a video which I've sent you lots of evidence of it. I mean, if people are on the live
We're
and
not
they,
going to share all of it, but we will share a little bit later on. Yeah.
yeah, if they feel like, oh, I'm just talking, there's evidence behind it. To be honest, this is very difficult to talk about. As you say, as a black woman, you always learn to be strong because you have no one to support or back you up. So I've kind of pushed it in the back of my mind. When you talk about abuse, you literally remember, you go back to the moments of, or what you're talking about. It's like you're reliving it again. So just bear with me if I
That's fine,
pause for
sis.
a minute.
Take your time. Take your time, my sister.
Oof. So he became physically abusive. until the neighbors in the building we were living in, they came to me and they were trying to talk to me in Spanish, obviously, because I didn't know Spanish that well at that time. And they were like, "Eso no, it means this can't happen. You can't live your life like this." They've called the police on several occasions where they came out to our address, and they give him a lot of warnings about his behavior. I was so embarrassed by.
But he was never arrested. Just
Yes,
warning.
he hid from being arrested because he's a barrister. He ran away and hid at a friend's house, so they wouldn't, because there's a period where they, well, I took out a restraining order after that because he cuffed me up. He cuffed me up and punched me and kicked me a couple times on the floor. I literally, I went under the bed to hide. Because I couldn't believe what's happening. Like, I am strong. I studied well. I tried my best to fight from Trinidad in poverty to come to England to make a better life. And I thought, why am I going through this? Why? I was literally hiding.
I need to take a minute.
After that, I told a friend I couldn't go to work because I told a friend I confided in her. She heard in my voice, a Spanish lady, Sylvia. And she took me to the hospital and they did tests and I had my ribs bruised and damaged. And again, I keep thinking, be strong, you know. He called and he was just begging me not to press charges because he's a barrister and that it's going to ruin his career. Please don't press charges. He would never do that again. He would allow me to come to England and live with my daughter, and he will come and visit. This was his promise. So when we went to court, I had to tell the judge I was petrified. And she kept asking me, I had a translator, are you being threatened? Is he asking you not to press charges because because he's a barrister? And I told her, I just don't want to talk. I just don't want to press charges. So he got his friend to write up the document, because obviously my Spanish still wasn't good at this time. This was the first incident in 2016. So we separated for a while and he kept saying, you know, he's sorry, he needs therapy, he's going into treatment. And me being alone in Spain, I have no family and no friends because I used to work all day and I used to take my daughter to work. It was a private school, so you're allowed to have my daughter gained entry into the school because it's private, so I would get to see her and I was still breastfeeding. It just grew after that worse, you know, like just lots of insults, you know. I mean, like effing bitch, effing mother, whatever, you're Black Hitler, you know, and he would just keep punching the walls next to me. I'd literally be scared to talk. So after that, I started sleeping on the sofa because I would try to sleep on the bed and he would literally keep insulting me, like, why are you on the bed? Like he wanted a bed for himself. So I just, because I'm tired, you know, when you have a little one, still breastfeeding, you're taking her to work, preparing everything, cleaning, cooking. I did everything. I had no assistant at all. So I started sleeping on the couch and I would literally hide before I leave the house. If I have to go out, I would keep looking through the peephole to make sure no neighbors or no one can see me. I was that embarrassed. I would take a longer breath where I was getting because I was so ashamed. When you're a victim, you feel like it's your fault, like you're the one who's causing these problems, you know. If I didn't cook properly or cook what he wanted, he would dash the pot through the window. He would do things like that, or start eating the food and literally throw the plate on the ground in the kitchen and break it. So it was a lot of
psychological abuse as well, it sounds like, sis, as well as, you know.
Yes. black bitch, and all day, every day, and he would literally whisper it down the phone, whisper it,
Yes.
So I have a problem with people when they whisper. I just go back there, remembering.
That sounds absolutely horrendous, my sister. Absolutely horrendous. And his
And
parents were also really complicit in all of this, weren't they?
yeah, it's almost like we don't believe you. And then he's an adult, we can't do anything. We can't talk to him. And I said, yes, you can, because this is too much. I can't take it. So it got worse because he would literally tell me, don't talk to my effing parents. Don't tell them nothing, And then I just become close, and they said to me, what's going on? I said, but I asked for help. I've spoken to you guys on so many occasions, and no one's listening to me. The abuse became more and more, in the sense that he would literally, like when we walk in the hallway trying to cross paths, he would just keep slamming me against the wall, like my head. So I would try to
Would
be...
this be in the house, in the
Yes.
house where you lived?
Yes, in the house where we lived. Most of the abuse occurred there. When we did go out, he would pretend like everything's okay. And I was so different. I never would speak. I would go out for 6 hours sitting there at an event, and I would not speak. And everyone said, oh, Giselle's always so quiet. She never talks. And, because I didn't, like, if I say the wrong things, he would say to me, wait till we get home. You're not in my good book.
Wow. So real hardcore abuse, physical, psychological, emotional, controlling and coercive behavior. He's got the full stack.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it just grew more and more, and I just tried to stay out of his way. For example, if I didn't had enough time to iron his shirt, he literally threatened me with an iron to bash my head in.
Oh
So I
my
had
goodness.
to try and iron his things, prepare the little one plus myself for work. And he would literally keep saying, where's my effing pants? I said, but I haven't had time because I have the baby, I'm getting everything ready. You're useless. Effing bitch. Now I have to go to court. My stuff isn't ironed properly. And this is what he would be doing. And I said, well, you have 2 hands. You can put stuff in the washing machine and, do some things around here. I'm so exhausted. I think now looking back with abuse, you're mentally tired and it makes you physically tired. There's incidents where he would be shouting the abuse, and I would literally, like I was in a bubble, I wouldn't hear him. And because I wouldn't answer back or hearing, he would just chuck whatever it is, like his glasses, his phone, a book, a cup, whatever it was nearby. I remember one occasion he chucked his glasses, but because I was so out of it, I was like a robot, like a dummy. It hit me, and I didn't know what hit me because I was out of it. And it was his sunglasses that he pelted or chucked at me. It hit me, and I just felt a really bad pain. So I started, feeling dizzy to fall down. And then I realized, oh, shoot, he hit me with the glasses, I had to get the doctors to see that, and it was damaged that near my right eye.
But that it sounds like just anything that he had to hand is what he would use. Yeah.
Yes, anything he had to hand.
What
And
a monster.
he would make arguments to go and party and be with his other girlfriends. So he would just make an argument, like maybe I didn't wash up the dishes from breakfast, to make an argument, and he would go out like lunchtime and come back the next day like 8, 9, 10 in the morning. So he was literally never home. At work, he would be at work. I had my own English school over there. I hired 3 teachers and myself. So I had my full-time business running. After the school, I decided to open my own business and to be independent and make my own money. And I love children. I love teaching. So he, it would be, for example, my last class would be about 8:30. Sometimes we would go over because obviously you're practicing speaking skills and listening skills with the students. And he would call me and said, "What the F are you doing? My mother can't keep the child." I said, "But I've got to get all the way there. You're on your motorbike. Can you not pick up Eva?" "No, what the F you think this is? Get the child from my mother." So I would literally, everyone knows me in my last business, my last school. They said Giselle is always running. I would literally run because I was scared that when he gets home, he's going to be so angry that I reached late for the child. I had to pick her up, drop her off. She was always at my school, my business, in the classroom and sometimes out of the classroom because she herself, she's quite a little chatterbox and her English level is quite high. So she would be chatting with some of the Spanish students I had to teach them. She experienced the abuse when he pushed, kicked, and punched me a couple of times. And one time he spoke to me very aggressively. And I remember Eva was about 4.5, 5. And she said to me, "Mommy, you can't take this." And that for me was an eye opener. I thought, what bubble am I living in? How much abuse can I take? My daughter is seeing this every day. Why? What am I doing? And that sort of snapped me in again to wake up and to fight. He would regularly embarrass me in front of his friends. So I wouldn't go out. I would just go to work about 8 to drop Eva at school at 20 to 9, be at work nearly quarter to 10 to 9, and then I would just be there all day until 8:30. I'll pick her up for lunch. She'll have lunch with me, take her sometime to the grandmother, pick her up afterwards. Eva was always with me. So this father, this man who you have the stigma or the name father, it shouldn't be. I was literally there all the time. I cannot even explain to you the extent. It's almost like she was my heir. She was always there with me, day, night, weekend, morning, sick, well, every time she was always with me. He didn't want anything to do with the child. It's almost like the child is there, you take care of her. He acted like if he was a bachelor, like he was. So he would just come home, sleep. Normally he would reach home 1:33 in the morning. Sleep, wake up. "Oh, where's my effing clothes? My shirt. I've got caught today. You're making this bad for me. Look at my clothes. It needs ironing." It was literally. It's almost like you're living in a house and someone is just visiting to change their clothes and go again. That's what it was.
And this is the guy that invited you over and told you how much of a wonderful life
He
you
would
were going to have
protect me.
over there.
He would protect me and everything would be fine. He promised me this. I said, "I don't know about it because, I'm leaving all my family, friends here in the UK. I have no one there. So I don't want to go in a situation where I'm alone and it's going to be bad for me." He promised me this.
And then you eventually left him in Spain, didn't you?
Yeah,
You
I
actually left
left.
him over there once you'd
Well, what it did, I
reported
started
him and
fighting
whatever.
back.
Yeah.
I started fighting back and taking him to court. I reported the abuse. There was another incident after that was really big, and I had to go to the police. I was fearful for my life. He threatened to kill me on a numerous occasion. He said you should be 6 foot under, you black bitch. He would literally he was driving erratically in the road from, like, if you're going in this direction towards town, he would go in the other side of the road and he would swivel in and out, dodging the traffic, to show how angry he was. And he stopped the car and he left me in the car, and he just left me in the car when the traffic was coming. So I had to get out.
Oh wow. So he
He's
left you on
done
the
that.
wrong side of the road in the car.
Yeah, because he was dodging in and out of traffic. So I had to get out, call his parents, call the police. There was another occasion as well. He did the same thing with Eva. She was scared to death.
Goodness.
And he would bribe her and tell her, "Please don't tell mommy what I've done," and try to buy her sweeties and go to the park and things like that. And Eva said she stayed quiet, and she said to me, "Mommy, daddy did this and he told me not to tell you. I've got it all recorded." with video recording. I've got video recording maybe about a year, 2 years. My phone is literally filled up with video recording. When she says, "Daddy punched me," there's numerous occasions where he punched her in her tummy, grabbed her, put bruises through her legs. We eventually flee Spain and we came to the UK because I was petrified. I thought this guy is going to kill me or get someone to kill me, because he knew a lot of the gangsters and mafias and drug dealers in the area. He's well known. He's almost like a mayor there. He's very popular. I remember on a couple of occasions he would have a couple of judges at our home and a few lawyers, and they would regularly be at our house partying, taking drugs with him. I was very surprised. I did not realize people who's supposed to defend the law and uphold the law were literally breaking the law at my house.
We've got a picture of the drugs you sent me earlier on, actually.
Yes, that's some of it. Yes,
that's just some of it. You've sent me a lot of stuff.
He uses these sort of a pipey things, and he put fire, like he has a big blowtorch thing, and he put fire and he pulls it in from some one of those things in the mouth area.
Well, this looks like he's using crack and cocaine. We can see a rolled up note there, and those are definitely crack pipes. They're not for ganja alone, are they?
He has his own thing. He has it always in his wallet. He has a couple in his office, and he regularly does it in his office with his colleagues. So those people, when I saw them at my house, I was just like, there's no way I could win in court. I still took him to court when we separated. Before we flew to the UK, I had 6 cases, actually 7. One was underway, and I had like 4 different solicitors. One of the solicitor I met, who was the domestic violence solicitor, and mind you, he's a barrister in the court. He walks in, and his specialty is domestic violence. He's one of the barristers.
He was one of the ones that was in the house taking drugs with.
Yes. Well, a couple of them I've seen at the court. I was like, oh my goodness, look, that one over there, and I know her and I know him. So I was petrified. So he would be in and out of the court where you as a person can't go, but lawyers, barristers, they can access those areas. And he was quite friendly with everyone there. They know him. His dad worked in the same court for like 33 years. So the family is well known. So I took him to court. My solicitor came and she asked about the case. And the first thing she kept saying, do you have evidence? Do you have evidence? And I said, yes. And she's like, is it the truth? Is it the truth? Because they all know, they knew one another. I didn't get
this. Is your solicitor that's supposed
to be defending you? My solicitor, the first solicitor I had, yes, for the domestic violence case that I brought against him. And she was almost like disbelieving me. And I stood and I said to her, like, which side are you on with the translator? Which side are you on? You're supposed to be my solicitor. I have evidence. I'm being abused. I need to take him to court. He needs to be charged for this. Mind you, the abuse against my daughter, Eva, it started escalating. He would start insulting me, insulting her, insulting me in front of her, and insulting her. He called her a shit child. Una niña de mierda. You're stupid and a liar like your mother. So this is how the abuse started also with Eva. And then he became physically abusive towards Eva. The abuse against Eva, it's almost like I don't want to talk about it because I have so much rage.
Yeah, I understand that.
I rage towards him because I felt like I should have physically hurt him, because to hear your child talking about their dad punching them in their tummy and kicking them across the room and they went flying, and holding them upside down and beating them and driving on the other side of the road, putting their lives at risk. That's just some of the numerous abuse that he has done to Eva. I feel like I should have done something, and whatever the consequence was, I was happy to take it, because I rather do something and protect her and go in prison and let her be free. Get rid of the abuser. And I haven't really processed all of it, to be honest. I keep trying to block it out because you can see Eva is traumatized.
She's very traumatized.
She's
And sis, that's a natural reaction from any mother in that situation, that you'd want to do that. But actually, in actuality, it wouldn't do Ava any good, because she needs you. She needs you to fight. She's just 8 years old, and nobody's listening to her. Which
this is what she says. She says, "I have no voice," because I went through the route of fighting it through the court. And then I realized the court was not listening. The police wasn't listening to me. I remember once they said, "Oh, you can't make any reports because you've made numerous reports and the judge don't like it." I said, "I don't care about the judge. I'm telling the truth. I am going to have all the abuse reported. I'm not going to lay down and take it. I am Caribbean. Yes, we're strong. We're fighting back. But I thought if I fight through the courts, someone would hear me." But we had no voice.
And this was in Spain. This was all playing out in Spain at the time, wasn't it?
In Spain. We went to court, and my solicitor, I had 4 different solicitors, because I had 2 different domestic abuse, one with physical abuse against, 2 with physical abuse against Eva. Then I had another one with the restraining order. He breached the restraining order. I had 2 restraining orders against him. So I had about 6 or 7 cases, 4 different solicitors. So
we've got some pictures of bruising and stuff like that, but I'm actually not going to show that.
Bruising, video. Eva, when we went to court here in the UK, Eva wrote a letter to the judge.
I'm going to actually show a segment of that in a second.
Yes. That letter is one she wrote to her dad, because she was trying to talk to him and say, "Daddy, yes, you did abuse me. You hit me. And why you keep lying?" Eva is so angry, and she's been so consistent with her words. It hasn't changed. She said, "Daddy, you abused me. Daddy, you hit me. You kicked me. Daddy, stop lying. Why are you lying? Why can't you tell the truth? You are an animal." These are Eva's words.
And she's your daughter is a very spirited, extremely intelligent little girl. She has a lot of capacity of understanding about what's going on for her. But I think one of the things that struck me in a clip that I'm going to play in a minute was just how much it's damaged her, and her perception of herself within that really comes through. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
She's very woke, and she's very she knows right from wrong, and she's 8.5, but she's a 13-year-old in her mind thinking. Very mature. What is right, and she's been consistent with the story. She can describe when her dad kicked her across the room and she flew across. She said, "Mommy, I always wanted to fly," because she likes unicorns. She said, "I didn't want it to fly in pain. Daddy kicked me and my brain just felt dizzy and jiggly like jello, and my spine hurt." And I just thought, I wanted to rip him apart, really, because that is some craziness. You know, this little girl, and she described his shirt he was wearing, red shirt. It had a fish on it. He likes fishing, and that's one of his shirt. 3/4 khaki pants, and he kicked her. She described what he was wearing, how it happened, where she flew, and everything. It's all detailed. And she kept saying, "No one's listening to us, Mommy. Why no one's hearing me? I don't want to go back to Spain. He's going to hurt me again, you know." And he's threatened to kill me. I had to literally be awake for a couple of months when I separated. I had people coming into my flat. I set traps at the door. I put stuff in front of the door where you could see different footprints and marks. I was petrified. I haven't slept. I remember when that happened for about 9 months. I would be up all day, all night, because I was so nervous that he could send someone to get rid of me, and there would be no evidence, nothing, mother gone, and full custody would be given to him for the child.
And this was at the point where you'd left him in Spain. You were now living separately, weren't you? And he'd been granted by the courts access to Ava. from
Yes.
weekends, right? And that's when the abuse escalated.
Yes, the
Right.
access to ever came because I got a solicitor because he brought me to court to sign an agreement. So obviously the agreement is in Spanish, and my solicitor did not get it translated, the extremity of it. When he did bring me to court to sign the agreement, this agreement is called a convenio. It's agreement where the father gives this amount of money a month. This is the holidays he gets to spend with her. My solicitor advised me, in Spain, there is no more. You have to sign this agreement. She never told me you don't have to sign it and then you could fight it another day, get another court hearing. The afternoon before my court hearing to sign this agreement, my solicitor, who is an English-speaking Spanish solicitor, Jose Maria, he told me that he cannot make my court hearing the next day. He's going to put his niece in charge of my case. But mind you, this is legal aid. So somehow I automatically believe that she's just going to represent him, and she he would inform her about the case and the agreement. So she contacted me later that night. And mind you, this is like 10, 11 o'clock Spanish time. So I was like, what's going to happen? Jose can't make it. Should we ask for another date? Because this is my solicitor. You're not my solicitor. She says, oh, I'm going to represent you. That's fine. So we went over the agreement. I said, do I have to agree on these things? She said, well, you just have to go to court and see what he wants. So she said, he's offering 150 euros a month and 350 for Eva's private school. And that's it. No help with rent. And that's it. So literally Eva was getting 150 euros a month. But mind you, he threatened me that if I was to ever leave him, he's going to fight me in court and he's going to give me the minimum, which he said was between 120 and 150 euros a month. So this is what we were getting from him. When we went to court the next morning, she said to me, okay, we're going to fight in court. This is what he wants. You have to agree. I said, do I have to agree? I'm not agreeing to 150. I'm not agreeing to 350 a month for her school. I can change her private school. I'm a teacher. She'll be fine. I said, and the holidays, I don't know about the holidays. Eva is having a really hard time. She's screaming. She doesn't want to go with him. She said to me, in Spain, this is what it is. You have to sign this agreement. I said, really, there's nothing else you could advise me. I can't fight it. She said, you have to sign it. So I signed it. When I signed it, and afterwards, about 2 weeks later, I went to a woman's, woman aid in the court. The barrister there was livid. She was so angry. She said, who advised you to sign this? I said, my solicitor. She was angry. She keeps scratching through the agreement. No, eso, porque firma. She keeps saying, why you sign it? Why you sign it? Who advised you? Oh my God, this is terrible. This is a trap. So in this agreement, apparently I cannot leave Spain unless I have the father's agreement. So obviously he's never going to agree for me to go and leave Spain with Eva. He's never going to agree to it, and I've got to get a judge. And obviously in that court, with my experience with a judge, I wasn't going to get justice. Because when I went to court with a restraining order, I had a district attorney, the judge who I know he takes drugs with, my solicitor on the left representing me, his solicitor on the right. I had the translator here, and he said to me, how did he break the restraining order? At what time? And this was in a courtroom in Spain. I said, I can give you the exact time. It's about 6 o'clock or 6:05. So I went in, reached into my bag to take out my phone because he kept saying the exact time. I said, I've got the video. Here it is. As I was reaching into my bag to get the phone to show him the exact time, the district attorney started shouting. I mean, I was so in shock. I just froze, shouting, don't take out your phone. So the translator keep translating what he was shouting. And I said, but he asked for the exact time, so I'm going to show him it. There's evidence on my phone. The judge stood behind the district attorney with her hands folded, looking at me up and down like, bitch, we're going to get you. You can't come against one of ours. He's a barrister with us and a friend. My solicitor had her mobile phone. She sat on the left-hand side. She was strolling through, watching messages and pictures. while the district attorney is shouting at me. The
Wow.
translator said to me, I'm scared. You need to get out of this situation in English, because she spoke English. And his barrister was looking at me up and down like you're a piece of crap. And I'm just stood there in this chair in the middle thinking, you know what? They're going to get me. They're going to get me real good. I was at that time, I realized, Giselle, there's no justice. One, he's a barrister. Two, they're backing him. Three, I'm black. Four, no one's listening.
Mm.
No one's listening to us.
I mean, Spain is a very fascist country, you know, in terms of in comparison to the UK, most definitely. And you know, when it came on to slavery and things like that, they were particularly brutal, them and the
Yeah.
Portuguese, weren't they?
Yes.
So it seems like not a lot has moved on. You didn't get any justice from domestic violence services. You didn't get any justice from the courts. You fought and fought and fought. You left the man. You tried to protect your child. The courts let you down. They were all in collusion. And they were all drug-taking friends of his who are part of the judiciary. Wow.
Yes, I remember.
I'm just going to show some of the racial abuse that you did actually experience from him. We've got a transcript, haven't we, of
I have
some of the
that.
text
There's one
messages.
where he says, wants to kill me. I didn't.
I've got it here. So if everyone
I am
can see
speak
that.
up. Yeah.
So it's Enrique Carmen. That's him, isn't it?
Yes, Enrique Carmen's dad.
Right, Carmen's dad. That's how you've got him on the phone. So he says, I'm crazy. It says bad, evil. And then speak up. I said, I love you, but I don't understand. You ways against me. Nothing I do is good enough. The good I cook, you criticize it.
Yes, sorry.
On Facebook, you put me down. Why? What have I done to you but love you and wanting a family? He says, speak up, or that's you saying speak up?
It's me. It's me.
Oh, actually, should I remind you the names you called me? Here they are: evil bitch, MF, I hate you, go to you niggers, speak up. I'm trying to cope with all of this. Try to remind me all what you called me, and it goes on basically. So this is like
that's just one. That's just
a
one
correspondence. That's just one of them, isn't it? You've sent me quite a few, and that's some of the correspondence between you and him. What I want to place this is we spoke about this before, and I know it's going to be really hard, but you really want people to understand the impact that it's had on Ava herself.
Yes.
So
I've got to keep positive and strong because she feeds off my energy. So
absolutely.
I don't know if you maybe can't hear it in my voice, but it's been a long road. It's been nearly 2.5 years. I am exhausted. Sometimes I feel I can't fight anymore.
Mm-hmm. You guys have been here 14 months. You fled from Spain, didn't you? You had to flee in the end because you feared for your life and Ava's safety as well.
Yes, because we got evicted. He got his friend who is the landlord of the property to serve us eviction notice. The landlord mother threatened to turn off the water and the electric. Sometimes there was no water, there was no electric. People were coming in the flats. The landlord kept threatening me. I had people come into the house, buzzing the buzzer and saying that they're the police. And I would run downstairs to talk to the police, and there was no one there. Just constantly playing and taunting us over and over again. Coming into the flat, I had to chuck away any bottle of drink or water I had open. I would literally buy stuff and cook it under there. I wouldn't leave nothing exposed in the house because I was frightened they might poison whatever it was.
So coming to the UK now, he actually set Interpol on you, didn't he? Once you left.
He called when we landed in the UK. I did send a text to say, we're in the UK. I'm not going to stop communication between you and Eva. You can call, you can video call, but we're safe and we're here. This is why I came back to the UK, where I see as my home, because I'm also British. So he got that message, and he then decided to call the local police to say to them that he did not know where we were, which he knew as a barrister it would trigger Interpol. I had the local police go to my brother's house at night looking for us.
This is in the UK.
Yeah. Us.
Yeah, this is in the UK, isn't it? Your brother's house
Yes,
in
this
the
is in
UK.
the UK.
Yeah.
Metropolitan Police, he contacted as well.
Mm-hmm.
He just pretended he didn't know, but he knew as a barrister what he would be triggering off, because obviously he knows the law.
Yeah.
I remember before I went and I got legal aid, I seek a private, I spoken to a private law firm, which was run by an ex-judge.
Mm.
And I spoke to him on a couple of occasions. So he asked me, who is the perpetrator? What's the family name? Because in Spain, they go by the family name. And when I told him the name, and he called me back a week later, he told me, Giselle, be careful.
Wow.
After that, I never called that solicitor's firm again. And a lot of paranoia set into place.
Of course, of course. And so you're going to get the final ruling, aren't you, next week? This
It
coming
should
week.
come in Monday, Tuesday this week. We don't know what day, but it's coming in this week.
And it seems likely, I mean, you've had really horrible barristers here, haven't you? And one of them's told you to prepare to go back.
He said,
Absolutely
to me,
horrendous.
prepare to go back. Prepare to go back.
Because they're ignoring all of the evidence that you've shown them. I mean, I've seen enough and people have heard enough, I know, to think, why on earth are they not protecting this little girl? But that's because she's not being treated as a British citizen. She's being treated as a Spanish citizen.
They're not recognizing it. They said, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't know what the hell does that mean, but we flee here for protection. And why are we not being protected?
One can't help think it's whether or not because you're both black. And this guy is a well-known Spanish white barrister who's got friends in high places.
Oh yes, he's got friends in high places.
It's a losing battle. I'm just going to play a clip or two clips actually, which we've blacked out so we can't see Ava, but we can certainly hear her and hear the level of distress that she's in when she thinks about having to go back to Spain. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to share a letter that she wrote to the judge. Is that right?
No, this one she wrote to her dad. The one to the judge was the one to the judge was sealed and sent off directly to the judge. She wrote it with a support worker, so there's no corruption where they could have said I influenced her words. So this is
her own letter to her dad.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's have a look at that. It's in kiddie writing. So she says, Daddy punched me in my tummy. He put me up against the wall, pulled me from my foot. He pulled me up my leg. I can't see all of it. He pulled me from my top and take me upstairs to, is that hit me?
He took me from my top and take me upstairs. He let me down the stairs, and he left me in Susanna's house. So this was another friend's house. He would literally take Eva there to take drugs with her. She's one of the richest ladies in the town, and that's his friend. So he would take her there, abandon Eva, and take drugs in the other part of the flat.
Wow. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, this child is so traumatized and terrified of going back. And they've heard all of this, haven't they? They've seen the letter, got all this evidence, and they're doing nothing about it. So let me just mute up my camera and my mic, and I'm going to play this. It's probably about 5 minutes long between the two. So I'm going to put out a trigger warning for people. It is highly distressing. Just brace yourselves, because it is not easy to listen to. This is little Ava, and this is with the permission of her mother, Giselle, that is on the live tonight, so that we can get an insight into just how distressed this little girl is and how much we need to support this mother and daughter to stay in the UK.
Carmen.
No!
Carmen, come. It's okay. It's okay.
It isn't. It's never okay.
It will be. Come
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want it to be now.
You want it to be okay now, but
Yes.
it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You hear? Eva del Carmen, Eva. Carmen.
What?
Relax. Go and get the ice lollies. Okay, let's get something. Let's do something fun. Go and get the ice lollies. Which one for me? The normal one. Calipo or Skittles? Go on. Go and get it. Good girl. Go on. Okay, stop. Oh, God. Don't pull out your hair, please. Carmen. Eva del Carmen. It's okay. Carmen. Ooh. Carmen. It's okay. Go for the ice lollies. I know. You can't stop crying. It isn't fair. Kami, I'm with you, Mommy with you.
Yes, don't leave me.
So I'm the one always here, so don't worry, okay?
Okay.
Who's my little angel, my star?
Yeah.
Who's my strong girl?
Yeah.
You don't take bullying?
No.
You don't take nonsense?
No.
You always tell the truth?
Yes.
Right. Okay? Mommy trusts you. I believe all what you're saying. You hear? I hear your voice, and your voice is heard. Don't worry. Listen to me. Listen, it's okay. You with your mommy, you're okay. I'm gonna fight and protect us, okay? You don't worry. Come on. I know. Come on, my little angel.
It isn't fair on me. I didn't do anything bad, did I?
I know you did.
No. And everything bad comes to me. I only get bad luck.
Everything bad comes to you. No, you'll get good luck. You don't worry. Go and get it. Go and get it.
Why
Isaac.
is so unfair?
It's not unfair.
Why on me? Why on us? Why on you? Why on me?
We're gonna be fine. Come on. Come on. We're fighters. We're strong.
They killed Fifi.
They kill your cat. I know. They poison Fifi in Spain. Okay, I know. I know, but we have another cat, Nixie.
No! I know, I love it too, but I wish you did not. They did everything bad.
They did everything bad. I know.
No! No! Don't touch me! I'm angry!
I understand. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough, Eva. That's enough. Eva del Carmen, that's enough now. Come. Come on. Come for a hug. Come for a hug. Okay? Okay, breathe. It's okay.
It isn't fair on me.
It's not fair on you, I know. I know, but...
I've always been nice to people. I never did anything bad, did I?
No, you're always a good girl.
And I deserved it. I always have the bad luck. Always the bad
You
stuff
don't have the
done to me.
bad luck and bad stuff. It's going to be good. Don't worry. Stop stressing. Come. Leave the stressing for mommy. Mommy protect you, right? Isn't it? Right. Okay? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. We could read, watch a movie. What's your fancy?
I don't know.
You want to twist up mommy hair?
Yeah.
And learn how to plait?
Yeah.
My hair is gonna be a difficult one. You're gonna help mommy comb her hair? Yes. Okay, go for the eyes. Love you. Bye. Bye, baby. What you looking for? Oh, okay. You're pretty. You're looking in the mirror. You're looking in the mirror, Angel. You don't look crying. You're good. Okay. Go outside for the eyes.
Oh, sister. You know, I can't help but shed a tear every time I hear that, my sister. You okay?
Yeah, it's like
Really upsetting. And you know, one of the things that struck me is when she said, I deserve this. All the bad luck always happens to me.
Yeah,
And
that's what she
that's so telling.
that's what she says. She thinks, like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I do wrong for daddy to be abusive to me? And I think well, we're trying to get her counseling. What
Yeah,
she
that was
doesn't
my
know, 'cause
next
she's still
question
a
actually.
child.
So, yeah, that was
Yeah,
my next question.
is that when the parents being abused, it normally passes on to the children. So I've been, working with her. She needs extra love. Mommy, where are you? Come and get me. Stay with me. Give me love. She's just so nervous.
Yeah.
She's on medicine to calm her down so she can sleep. She wants to kill her dad. She's told him this in many videos. She says, I want to hurt you the same way you hurt me. She's been saving up money. She might try and run away because in her little head, she thinks, if I hurt him, it's going to stop. If I kill him, she says, Mommy has a big kitchen knife, and it cut Mommy on her hand. So on her finger, I know it's sharp, and I'll get that knife, and I will kill you with that knife.
That is a really dangerous space for an 8-year-old.
So,
That's actual homicidal ideation, which, that can express outwards to other people. Do you
yeah,
understand? It's so important that she's given the space to be able to heal and get the right kind of help and support, because this man has irrevocably damaged your daughter.
yes,
Let's hope it's the extent of that damage is not as enduring as it could be, but it's
that's what I'm worried
irrevocable.
about. Yeah,
She's always going to have those memories and have to work backwards and work through, or work forwards, I should say, and work
yes.
through that trauma.
For Rose, I needed my phone last week. I have two phones. So she normally used the other iPhone for her Roblox, that game that the kids play. So I needed it because I have some other apps on it because my phone is literally so full with videos and evidence. So I decided to take it to do a Google search because I'm using the other one, and ever Google searched how to kill
Oh my gosh.
your dad in another country. I was so petrified.
Oh my goodness.
And this happened last week, Thursday.
Oh my goodness.
So what do I do as a mother? I flee. I came back to the UK. I fought when I was there. Still nothing. I came here and it seems like nothing. When would we be heard? I just feel like I should just stop whatever they decide to do with me. I keep thinking, when I die, how much time do I have with Ever? When is he gonna
No, sis.
kill me? When is he gonna hurt me? Do I have 1 month? If they send me back 2 weeks, 2 years, I know he's gonna get me. I just don't know when.
My brothers and sisters, we the community have to rally behind this sister. Now, there was somebody that made a comment. I think it was either under the last live or on Instagram. I forget which one, but they made the comment. You want to run off with white men to Europe and whatever, and now it hasn't worked out for you. You're going to want to run back to the community. I say to that person that you're a despicable. You're not even a human being, because for you not to hear the plight of this sister, it doesn't matter. We spoke about this, didn't we, sis?
Yes.
And you had a really interesting insight, which touched me actually, because a lot of people, they just say things and they're not really taking into account a whole lot more than what it is. And I don't think anyone has the right to tell you that you deserve, because really that's what it's saying, isn't it? You deserve what you're getting because you should never have been with a white man. Well, this whole platform is about the abuse of black men against black women. Let's just say that for starters. And this is about the abuse of a woman from a man. That's who it is. Doesn't matter if he's white or if he's black. He's abusing his own daughter. You've heard the trauma and the things that this sister's been through. Sis, just tell us a little bit what your reaction is to that.
My reaction was, okay, I'm Caribbean. Yes, I'm British also by passport, but I am from Trinidad. So I was saying to Rose that my great-granddad was white English. My great-grandma they're mixed with Carib and Arawaks, the traditional tribes that was there before the white man
Classic Trini, yeah.
We mix also with Indian. So my parents never physically sat down and said to me, Giselle, don't bring no white man up in this place, right? I've dated other men, black men, where they told me their parents said to them, don't bring no white woman up in this place. So we as Caribbean, we're so diverse, Chinese, black, they come and they just mix up everybody, you understand? So why I'm thinking I should have not gone with a white man, being a black woman. Is it my fault, And it's almost like I feel like people think I should blame myself because I chose to go with a white man and now problems happening. You're running, looking left and right. That's not the point. My family is mixed and diverse, like many of us on the chat now and many of us in the UK and in the Caribbean.
And like you said, you didn't have that kind of teaching. Some of us did, some of
No.
us didn't. Some of us had that and, went for what it is that we felt. At the end of the day, it isn't about you being with a white man. It's with you being with an abusive, narcissistic psychopath. That's what this is about. And I think it's disgusting that people should turn their backs or feel that it's justified to be able to tell this sister, serve her right, because that's actually what they're saying, isn't it? And you shouldn't have to justify to anybody who you fall in love with. Not at all. This is about a narcissistic guy, of which we've seen lots of black ones. We talk about them all the time on here. So it's hardly the point, is it?
Yes.
What I will say about that is that, yeah, if you are kind of more Afrocentrically minded, you'll be aware of a particular type of white man, because not all white men are abusive narcissists. Not at all. There are lots of white men with black women who treasure and love them. But this particular guy seems to come from the ilk of white man that, as I say, the slave master mentality or syndrome, where they want a black bed wench to be able to bed and have a brown baby with. And then they proceed to abuse them, both the baby and the child. Whatever this syndrome is, this illness, we've seen it in the community for a long time. But you kind of, post-slavery, you have to be very aware of that, especially in the UK as well. And, coming from the Caribbean, like you said, where, there isn't that much emphasis put on color. It's the same in Africa. In Africa, one of the things living over there that shocked me, actually, coming from this paradigm, which is all about racial lines and divides and, which camp you're in, was how little color mattered in Africa. They deal with tribe and loyalty. They don't care if you're like in East Africa where I was. The term for white person is umzungu, and that for them has become kind of more of a colloquial, broader term to mean foreigner. So we found ourselves as Black British people being called umzungu by the local Tanzanians, which of course was like not the one for me, but it just gave you an insight into how little they see color. It's more about the tribe you're from. And as far as they're concerned, we were from the British tribe. So we were just all umzungu, black or white, it didn't matter to them. This whole racial construct is something that was put together by white supremacists about 200 to 300 years ago to justify slavery, actually, and why it is that they found wonderful monuments in ancient Egypt and beyond, Kush and so on, that was built by black people. So they put together this whole racial construct that actually white people are more superior and we are inferior. Prior to that, there was lots of intermarriages across the ancient world because people just saw your heart and what stock you came from. So I just want to put that one to bed, sis, and just get your perspective on it, because I think that it's extremely cruel and callous for anybody to say that, hearing all that you've been through, my sister, and what your daughter is going through now. And if they talk about blackness, your daughter is a black child. If you go on the one drop theory that one drop of black blood makes you black, she certainly doesn't look like a white child. She looks closer to a black child than she looks white. Yes. In fact, your daughter is the same color of as at least one of my daughters who's black. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. The fact is, this guy's an absolute psychopath, and we have to protect you from him. We have to get your community behind him, love it or hate it. At the end of the day, these are the kinds of things, my sister, that the brothers need to be standing up for. Yes. Absolutely, not shunning you, because it was a man that made that comment, by the way.
It should be a tribe it should be a tribe to fight against abuse, domestic abuse, rape, pedophile. We should be a tribe that fight for justice for the voiceless. That was the last thing on my mind, thinking, oh, because my daughter's dad is white, maybe that's why I'm right. That's the last, I mean, way, way, way out there. I haven't even thought about that in that sense until that person made that comment, which was very cruel, because I think they're trying to undermine what I'm trying to put across and the help that we need and the protection. Focus on saving us, focus on protecting us. We are human. Apart from human, we're
Absolutely.
Black women that needs
Absolutely.
help. It has nothing to do with the color thing. Abuse is abuse.
I wish I had time to actually find that comment and call that person out. I can't remember if it was a fake profile. It probably was. But, you know, appalling, absolutely appalling. I was so angry when I saw that. So very angry. You know, this is our sister and we need to protect her. And you know what? If you brothers ain't going to protect her, we will. We will, sisters. Put a one up in the chat if you're willing to go all the way to protect these beautiful sisters, this beautiful sister and her little girl. Because we've had private conversations, haven't we, sis?
Yes.
About the protection that we feel that you need and you could be afforded. But we're not going to advertise that here. We're going to wait for the judgment and see what happens. But you do need to be protected. And this community definitely will stand behind you every step of the way, my sister. Every step of the way. You know, even if we have to lay down on the tarmac in front of that plane, you will not be going back to Spain. Not in my opinion, anyway. And I know there's lots of people here that will support that as well. Please, please, please sign the petition. The link is in my bio on @AfroRose69 on Instagram. It's also on last week's live. I don't know if I can edit this afterwards and put it in, but I will if I can, and I will try. My sister, what are your next steps in terms of preparing your little girl? You know, what have you said to her? Hi, Giselle. Are you there? You've muted up, sis. You're muted. There you are. Yeah.
Yes, hi. We're praying family. I call myself and her a family, whether it be single parent or single father. We pray a lot, and she prays a lot, and she believes that her voice would be heard by this judge. So we're waiting. If it turns out the other way, we're trying to get the petition, as much people as we can, to petition and put this forward, you know, and maybe fight to get the law changed, because it's a bit complicated. The Hague Convention, it's an old law, and it needs to be reformed.
It's very archaic. Yeah.
Yes, it's very black and white. It's very straight, very complex. So my is trying to protect us and get our voices heard here in the UK, and being protected as a British citizen, as a country that you think would protect you. You know, I didn't get any protection in Spain. I fought there. I want people to understand. I went all the way to fight every case, every single way. I gathered evidence, videos. You know, I put restraining order in place. I talked to different agencies, and still, when I realized this is it and we're going to be killed possibly here, I had to flee. I wasn't supposed to come through the airport. They put a what do you call it?
Yes.
A restriction. I forgot what it's called. There's a specific name. And God,
like a kind of a border block or a port.
A border block with
alert.
Our names.
A port alert, yes.
A port alert. So we weren't supposed to fly out. And God, trust me, the computer glitched with my name, with whatever they put with my name. And the immigration officer stamped my passport and allow us to get on that plane. If they caught up with me there at the airport, you would not have been hearing my plight. You would have heard a British woman has been jailed in Spain. I would have been imprisoned or murdered. Yes. And that would be.
I'm telling you, that is so much the act of the ancestors, the Most High Himself. When you told me that story, I had goosebumps, because you literally got to the border not knowing that they put a border alert on you, right?
Yes.
Or did you know beforehand?
Well, I wasn't sure because I don't know what he's done because he's a
Right. So
barrister.
you didn't actually know for sure,
No.
but when you got there, you saw them starting to look at something on the screen that was irregular. And that
Yes.
kind of made you aware that, hold on, there's something going on here. And at the point where they were trying to look at it, the computer glitched.
The
And
glitch
it
and had
disappeared
like
from the
lines
screen.
going across. It
Right.
deleted
Wow.
whatever it was. Mhm.
Wow.
Later on, I found out they put aboard a port alert and we weren't supposed to leave the country. Her dad and his family were surprised that we're in the UK. They couldn't believe we're in the UK. We flee for our life and we got on the plane successfully and ended up in the UK.
Absolutely.
Because they knew the port alert would have stopped us and I would have been immediately arrested and charged with kidnapping.
That is an act of God. I don't care what anybody says. It's the works of the Most High Himself. It really, really is. And that to me says that you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to fight from here, not Spain. You know, you'll never get a fair hearing there. What we need to work on is speeding up the UK process for you to naturalize your daughter under your own citizenship, which she gets automatically. But the Hague Convention just refuses to recognize that, don't they? They don't want to hear about that. All they care about is that she's a Spanish child. She's been kidnapped by the mother, taken out of the country, and they need to get her back because that's their job. And they've ignored all of the evidence of abuse, Ava's letter, all of that. They've ignored it, haven't they?
Mind you, I spoke with social services before and I reached out there for them to get us any help. And they were gathering information there. But by the time it was getting very late, the abuse was getting worse, more threats, and we had to flee. There was no time waiting to fight because I've fought before and I've lost the cases. I had a lawyer saying, "Oh, we wouldn't put evidence in until they give us a date. Then I'll tell you when to put evidence." So by the time that specific case came round, they said, "Oh, it's shelved. There was no evidence." And I said, "Why did you not give me proper legal counsel? I said to you, let's put in the evidence." So a lot going on. They know one another. They're all interlinked. He's working in the back there with the judges, seeing them every day. He has access. There's no way I could win. And I'm sure there's lots of other British citizen women who are going through the same similar cases here, and they flee for their lives.
Absolutely,
So it's not just a one-off case. We need to fight this. There's a lot of abuse with partners abroad, and you're fleeing. It's a genuine flee. I'm not joking. I'm very humble. I must put that across to you. I'm a very humble person. I'm very straightforward, and I have fought. I'm not like, okay, come and save me because I'm British. No, I went through a lot of abuse, and I've been trying to heal myself because I have no other healing mechanism but God, my family, and friends. And thank God for this platform. Thank God for Rose. If it wasn't for, I don't know how we would ever be heard.
Oh, bless you, sis. Well, you're definitely heard here. And it's this guy, your humility comes across, and I think that's what he took advantage of, really. In Jamaica, you probably heard the saying, "Duppy know who to frighten." I would have loved for him to dig out one of these, a sister like myself, actually, because I would have broke him up. I tell you that, my sister.
You got my permission to
they always pick the humble ones, my sister. They always do.
Yes.
Duppy know who to frighten, because I couldn't imagine that happening, sis. I couldn't. And that isn't any slight on you. That is actually a testament to your beautiful character. An old dog like me, he couldn't get away with it. He really couldn't.
Rose.
He really couldn't. But we have to take a bad thing, make joke. That's what makes us Caribbean. But my sister, your strength is what shines through. And the way that, you were so patient in dealing with Ava, because you're dealing with your own frustrations. And sometimes it isn't easy to deal with. I heard when she kicked the wall, I think, or she hit something, didn't she?
Yes.
And I know many of parents with all the best intentions that would have actually maybe got angry at that as much as she was hurting, but you didn't. You were really gentle, and it just came across how much you love that little girl. you know, and how much he would do to protect her. It really did come through for me. And I know a lot of people here. I'm going to put the StreamYard link in. I want anybody to jump on that might be able to give sister a little bit of advice and words of encouragement. There's the link, as always. It's in the chat. It just went up. Copy and paste it and jump on, my brothers and sisters. We'll give you a few minutes to be able to do that. And it would be lovely if we can kind of interact with the sister tonight before we go. If not, we'll say goodbye to you, my sister. Let's see who comes on. So yeah, there's the link, people. Jump on. I want to hear from the sisters or even a brother that might be able to give some words of encouragement. And if there's anybody that feels that they can contribute to the effort of support around this sister, particularly places of safety that might be suggested, could you DM me on @AfuaRose69 on Instagram, please? And we're going to get a kind of vanguard together for you, my sister. As I say, I don't want to say too much, but we have spoken quite extensively, haven't we, about ways that we can protect you. It's really not on.
Yes.
It's not on. It's absolutely horrendous. Jump on, people. It's absolutely horrendous. And thank you, sis, for just your strength and being able to tell your story with such clarity. You know, it's not an easy thing to do. It really, really isn't. And you broke down once, which is understandable, but you really held your resolve, sis, and I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
God is good.
And also the sister that referred you to me as well, you know. I'm not going to say her name necessarily, but you know who you are. You're a strong warrior sister as well, and an amazing friend. Keep supporting the sister, and you yourself need support. So I'm going to talk to about that, you know, in the week or something, Giselle.
Yes,
but you know, both of you have experienced as Trini women some really dark things and lots of racism between the UK and Spain, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. But yes, my sister, thank you so much for coming on. I don't think anybody's coming on. Let's give them a couple of more minutes. I'll repost the link. And Ava's at school, isn't she? She's at school at the moment over here.
Yes, Ava is at school. She has lots of friends. It's quite clever. She's bilingual. She loves French,
excuse me,
English, and Mandarin. She's quite a clever girl. She loves maths.
Very
And
clever girl. Very, very clever girl.
She wants to be a bone doctor. So,
wow.
I always keep pushing her. She's positive. She's strong. She's almost like a mini warrior. She's so brilliant.
I can hear it in the way that she communicates, how in touch she is with herself and what's happening to her. Very, very vocal, very articulate young lady. You know, very impressive 8-year-old.
Yes.
You should be very proud of her.
I wasn't very woke. I become really woke the last couple of years, and that has sort of made her into who she is. She's very strong. She's very confident. You can't let anything pass by her. I think she's a mini Afro Rose mixed with Giselle.
You need to come and join the His Time Is Up family and be the voice of the future. You know, we need little sisters like Ava for sure. You understand?
Yes.
Forged in the fire.
Yes.
We've got a wonderful sister coming on here. My sister Linnea. I always mispronounce your name, sister Linnea from Afro Belly. She was on a couple of weeks ago, Giselle. I don't know if you saw that one. But sister is a wonderful sister. I'll let her tell you who she is.
Yes, I did see. Yes.
Yeah.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you. I just jumped on, you know, I was doing my hair, so I'm not going to come on the camera. But I heard you asking if anyone wants to come on, and I didn't want to leave the sister because I'm so touched by your story. Oh my gosh, you've been through so much. And my father was very abusive to my mother, so I understand a lot of what your daughter was saying. She is so powerful, and I have shared your petition, but I will make sure that I stay in touch with Sister Afua, because it doesn't matter the race of the person that you are with. You are our tribe. You're our sister, you know? Yes. And your daughter belongs to us.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm sorry that you've had to have such a harsh time. It sounds crazy what with the occupation that he has. But I'm glad that you're praying. And I just ask that you keep praying, keep speaking out about it. Let's see what happens this week.
Yes.
I don't know, back to Spain no matter what, basically. And hopefully other steps can be taken to get you and your daughter into the safety that you deserve.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I want. I
sis.
just wanted to offer some support, some strength to let you know I'm here. I'm going to share it as much as I can. But most importantly, I cried a lot listening to what I just heard. And as much as we feel it in our hearts, is as much as I'm sure all of us will move to support you as well.
Yes. It's
Okay.
so real. Thank you.
Sis. That's fantastic. Thank you so
And I'm a
much.
Jamaican sis as well, so I understand everything you said about the racial background. And thank you so much, Afua. I'll speak to you soon. Keep up the sacred work that you're doing.
Blessed,
Thank
lovely
you.
Blessings,
sis. You
sisters.
too. You
Bless
too.
you.
And listen out for the
Bye-bye.
Ramon Kalai Chronicles on Afro Belly on YouTube, because his story's coming up quite soon, isn't it, sis? Do you want to tell us when?
On the 3rd of July, I have a documentary dropping in the morning that I would really like everyone to listen to. It's really about the abusive parents and the father and the mother and the family. And next episode will be on the July 3rd. So I
And that's one day
appreciate
before my
that.
birthday.
But Giselle, I wish you all the best as well.
Okay.
I was
Thank you.
thinking back today. This one is for the mothers, you know.
Blessed love, sis. Blessed love.
All right, then.
We'll speak soon.
Blessed
Thank
love.
you.
Peace.
Beautiful, wonderful, healing sister there.
That's
So
love.
yes, sis, you are ours. You belong to this tribe, and so does your daughter. And we're going to do our best to protect our own. That's what's going to be happening here, my sister.
Thanks,
Sister
Fran.
Giselle, I want to thank you so much for coming on, sis, and sharing with us.
Thank you, Afro Rose, for giving us a voice. Without you, I think we would definitely be totally voiceless.
Bless you, sis. And we're going to continue working in the background, as you well and know.
Yes.
Okay. Blessed love, sis.
Same.
Yes, my brothers and sisters. So there you have it. I tell you, some things just never ever cease to amaze me, my brothers and sisters. It's just, my head is hurting me, honestly. It really is. And we've been dealing with a lot the last couple of weeks. We had the massive testimony last week, which was just deep on so many levels. And what we've heard this week as well, you know, it can't be allowed to continue. How can a man, a grown man, beat a woman, much less a little child who, let's remember, this child was 6 at the time. She's 8 now. She was 6 and 7 at the time when this was going on. And I think even younger as well. You know, if that was in the UK, I'm sorry, it would absolutely not be allowed to happen at all. You know, but the fact that it's Spain, the fact that they're black, nobody seems to care. We've got to do something about it, and we've got to start protecting our own, my brothers and sisters. It looks like no one's going to come on and say anything else. Yeah, I hear you, Kay. A CAMS assessment. Yep, that's probably going to happen. But that's only going to happen if they recognise her as a British citizen, which at the moment is not happening. The British are saying it's not our jurisdiction. It's a Hague Convention, and she's a Spanish child. The Spanish are saying, we're not looking at any kind of abuse. You need to just bring the child back to Spain and give this man access, which actually is about his parents. Because in Spain, the grandparents have probably more rights than the parents in many cases. And this man plans to give the child to her racist grandmother, who actually, I should have asked sister to tell you that story. There's so many stories. We would have been here all night. But one of the stories is that the racist grandmother had pushed little Ava, her face into a bowl of soup because she refused to denounce her mother in her grandmother's presence. This is the kind of abuse and the racial abuse that this little girl is facing as well. Absolutely horrendous. You know, we've got to do something, and we've got to lobby the UK government to do something. We need more signatures on this change.org. And we need people to sit up and pay attention. So as I say, DM me if you want to have a wider, more private conversation about how we can support that sister. And unless anyone's going to speak tonight, it's Monday tomorrow. I know many of us have got work. We've been on a lot longer than I anticipated this week. I thought we might have a slightly shorter one, and it is slightly shorter, but not much. Please, 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 as always, my brothers and sisters, donate to the cause. We've got the His Time Is Up March coming up, and we are fundraising for that at the moment, as well as just keeping this channel going and all the rest of it. All these people that say, oh, you're taking money from the Black community and you're not doing anything for them. Well, I beg to differ. And the people that benefit from this channel also beg to differ. So we're going to start drowning those people out. We don't actually need to hear from them anymore. They don't have a place in this community. You know, for some that love the passer and the mix-up and the controversy in the chats, it will no longer be a place where they find entertainment. That is the aim. Sorry, I had to suck a sweetie there. That is the aim. And we are going to build a community of people that want to make change. That's what's happening. So blessed love to all the regular His Time Is Up people in the chats. I know I don't always get to call everybody out. Blessed love to all that came out today. Sister LB, Sister Teresa, as always, ever faithful, ever sure, and everyone else who turned up today as well. There was a few people there, and I'm so, so grateful for that support. I think it really made an impact at the police station. You know, they were a little bit, ooh. At one point they sent a van round to kind of ask us what we were doing and whatever, and why we were making so much noise. In fact, we had, this came out today. We need to give it a name. This is the His Time Is Up megaphone that was used at the march last year, bought for that purpose, and has now become a bit of an emblem, a bit of a symbol for us. So we were there with that today. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe, yeah. We were there today. Think of a name for this, my brothers and sisters. I can't think of a name. Me and my daughters were trying to give it a name the other day. But yeah, think of a name for the His Time Is Up megaphone. I don't know, what can we call it? Marcia? Marcia the megaphone. That's a nice black girl name. DM me or put it in the comments anyway, if you can think of a name for our megaphone. Our black voice box. Yeah, I quite like that actually, Robert. Yeah, I quite like that. Our black voice box. Foghorn. that's a little bit obvious. Foghorn. Any others? Any other takers? Anything's on a high note. Any other suggestions? No? All right. Well, DM me. Put it in the comments below. Underneath this, the voice. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know. Marcia. Yeah, Marcia. Marcia the megaphone. We'll think of something, my brothers and sisters. Thank you once again for all that support and for all that are serious about victims becoming survivors. I will see you again next week on His Time Is Up Community Conversations, or Afua Speaks Community Conversations. I will see you again. All the donation links are at the bottom. Please keep giving, my brothers and sisters. Without you, we're not able to continue. It's a very, very difficult feat to do on one's own. Black voice, I quite like that one. Yeah, I quite like black voice, actually. It's not bad. Keep them coming, my brothers and sisters. Keep them coming in the DMs and in the comments. And I will see you again next week on Afua Speaks at Community Conversations. Blessed love, my brothers and sisters. Make sure that you have an amazing week. And I will see you again next week. No, it's this week now, isn't it? Yeah, end of this week. And give you some updates as to what's going on, because actually we're coming up to the next hearing for the Clark defamation case. Ding, ding, ding. And I'll let you know what's been going on with that. And we'll have some fresh cases to look at as well, and hopefully some updates on what's been going on with some of the other cases, particularly the rat case. I want to make some strides on that, my brothers and sisters. Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love. Good night.